Hey man, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode, you can see here I've got steel deliveries coming in for the interior mezzanine for the barn dominium. The plan was to have all of this chopped up into firewood, moved out of the way before all this stuff got here. I got caught up with other stuff. I got injured, in the fall, like first thing, and that put me down for, probably about a month before I could really do anything. But yeah, now is the day. We got a little bit of nice weather here, and it is Stihl day. Let's cut some firewood. Welcome to Man Time. Yeah, it's pretty funny to think how far I've come in my firewood and woodsmanship here. If you go back on the very start of this channel, I was running a Husqvarna 350 that was left on the property when I bought it. That was, pretty shot out, and I had done firewood for several years before I started the channel, and primarily used that 350. I did have a backup in a 455, but I had rebuilt that 350 3 times, and it was on its third jug and fourth piston, and it was a good running saw by the time it was the very first video on the channel, if you want to go all the way back. But it ended up having the crank seals go out of it eventually. I still tried to fix it a few more times without really realizing, how important the bottom end compression was to a two-stroke. Even though I used to race two-strokes, I just never had that problem before where a bottom end seal went out. So, anyways, I ended up getting a Stihl 31 from a guy on Marketplace who was cleaning out his shed. He had that, and he had two different saws. It might have been that first 020 that I got, or it might have been a different, branded chainsaw altogether. But if you go back just as much as a year or two ago, I'm fully porting up chainsaws, and specifically this 440. Well, matter of fact, I got this 440 and this 194 from the same guy in town. He had it listed as $100 for the 440, blown up, doesn't run, fixer-upper parts saw, basically. And turned out, yeah, he was right. The fuel line had broken down, and it was sucking air, and he ran it until it just basically blew up. Like the piston blew up, and it took the cylinder out with it, and the crank bearings and the roller bearings in there were completely destroyed. So I took it all the way apart. New crank, new piston, port work, machine work, new cylinder, of course. Completely rebuilt. But this saw doesn't get a whole lot of air time. It doesn't get a whole lot of run time. It's one of my favorite saws. It's one of my most reliable saws, and that's why we're going to run it today. I just need to make sure I've got all this marked up. I can see marks all along that one, all along that one, all along that one. I'm just missing a few right here. So I'm going to get the 194 fired up, make a couple marks, get them picked up off the ground with the tractor here, where I can cut them in the air and really have some fun with that 440. Alright, let's see how this one wants to run today. Haven't ran this one in a while either. I feel like maybe the purge bulb isn't working on this one so well. There it goes. let's get this 440 fired up and get it warming up while I get these logs lifted up in the air. Yeah, no decomp on this one. Again, lots of port work, machine work. Oh, God. Compression's come up a good amount. Oh, man. What a good saw. Well, no tuning screwdriver today, and no sharpening system. So let's try to stay out of this dirt. It is pretty dirty. This one rolled on the forks here. I might be able to get it to roll back. Let's get some chunks out of this one though. See how this 440 is going to do without any tuning. Man, it's nice to have a very tunable, runnable, fast ported and rebuilt chainsaw. Better than new, that's for sure. Yeah, that's why I keep this one at the house. If there is any sort of storm or damage or whatever, this is pretty much going to be a first grab for me. yeah, so 2 reasons why I'm using the tractor. 1, I don't have to worry about hitting the dirt, and 2, I need to move all of the logs anyway, but this one is pretty small. I should be able to move these by hand. If not, I got a handy tool I can just rip them in half with. Yeah, that's nice. Saw that you can just shut off, set down, walk away, and know that it's going to restart the next time around for you, you know? And easily restart, right? Oh man, let's talk about the MS440 for just a second here. Whew. Man, that is a good running chainsaw right there. This chainsaw, the 044, and then this one shortly after, they really, I think, drove Husqvarna to make a better chainsaw. Now, I'm not saying Husqvarna was making a bad chainsaw to begin with. Quite the contrary. The 61 and shortly after the 272, which was, you know, kind of in competition with the 044 at the time, they needed something to get up into that 70cc class that the 044 and later on the 440 would dominate that market until the 372, right? And it seems to me that Husqvarna looked at a good thing and saw what was working. 50mm piston, 36mm stroke. It's pretty much the sweet spot, and you know, I think everybody is kind of aware that the sweet spot is the 44, the 372, the 440. That's just kind of the pinnacle of chainsaw making as far as I'm concerned, and several others, I'm sure. But yeah, the pinnacle of chainsaws. What's your pinnacle of chainsaws down there in the comments? If it's the 440 044, how do you think this one compares to the ones you've been running? I'm in love with it. Anyways, that's going to do it for today. Man, time you enjoy this type of stuff, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and get out there, have you some man time too.